Hello there guys, and welcome to Mad Dog Minis. I've got another Titan update for you. Sorry it's been a while since I've done any work on the Titan. The harsh reality of it is that my Titan stuff doesn't really get many views on my channel. So I've got to kind of devote time to other projects to kind of make up for that and to keep the channel alive, really keep the viewer count up and the hours watched count up and all the rest of it. Such is the nature of YouTube, unfortunately. I've got about 150, 160 of you as far as I can figure that really follow along and are very loyal with the Titan stuff. So to each and every one of you guys, you are my kind of like chosen few. What was it, the dauntless few or something? What did Gilliman say? I can't remember. Yeah, put it down in the comments. But that's what you guys are, because you are following along with what is a real labour of love for me. I'm trying not to rush this thing. I'm trying to let the creativity come to me rather than to force it out. So thanks ever so much for bearing with me and for your patience. And let's dive in and see what I've been up to. So at the rear portion here, I've got the Titan rear facing because that's where a lot of the work in between has been happening. We've got this battle balcony area here. So I will come back to this in a minute and explain it a little bit more. But as you can see, it pokes out beyond the superstructure here, but it's still kind of underneath the kind of main, this kind of plateau area, which is where the big kind of battle fortress or cathedral kind of area is going to be. Now, so I'll return to this in a second, but I just want to show you a couple of the bits I've been doing. Detail, detail, detail. So this is the back of the big plasma blaster. We've got lots of rivets that have been kind of added onto this kind of banding here. I'm going to probably do more than that, actually. The more rivets, the better, because it really all helps to sell the scale of this thing. That's the major problem with a lot of Titan builds, a lot of amateur Titan builds that I've seen, is that they look fantastic, but they just don't look enormous for the scale. They just don't seem to fit the scale, and I'm really determined to try and sort that out with this particular build. So over here, similarly, we've got bits of extra detail that I've done, slowly adding detail where I can. And if we go around the side, again, lots of rivets been added, probably more to come there. I've added this bit of railing. I'm considering making this a kind of playable area. I'm not 100% sold on that at the moment, so don't worry, that may go. And if we move up to the side here, we've got a battery of las cannons. These are taken from the Lehman Russ tank kit. I bought a load of Lehman Russ hull weapons cheap on eBay. They've been cut and angled down, and they've been kind of surrounded by Lego components, some slopes, a little vent above there. We've got a single stud jumper with an adhesive pearl stuck onto it at the bottom, and that to me simulates the kind of optical targeting equipment. There's not much room inside here for these to be crewed, I don't think, because these big cannons at the front likely go all the way through the structure. So I imagine these being slaved to some kind of servitor somewhere else on the Titan, or if we're in another universe, you know, computer controlled or something like that. So yeah, identical both sides. So we've got these kind of, got two batteries sticking out either side there. And we've also got a little bit of Gothic detail. Hopefully you can see that on the screen there, that kind of little bit of cardstock, that kind of cut out a Gothic shape in between there. And I've used some rivets right in the corners, top and bottom. You can just about see the top ones if I angle it underneath. Again, probably going to add more rivets for, extra layer upon layer of detail, basically. Detail, detail, detail. And minor stuff here. I've just done some filling in of some of these gaps. This is actually done with a little bit of milliput. Okay, so it's getting there. It's bit by bit. It's slow progress, but I'm happy with that, with this particular project. So let's move back around the rear portion here, and I'm going to show you a bit more about this balcony. So lifting off the lid. Okay, right. So if you look inside the balcony, you can see that I've stuck some granny grating down with super glue. This is all made out of EPVC. The back plate here is actually foam board, and that's just what I had stuck on there. Look, that goes inside, look, and it's just stuck all the way across to close up this gap. And then this stuff here is all EPVC, kind of cut to shape and measured and all the rest of it. We've got a rhino kind of top hatch door there. We've got some EPVC around it to give it an inset look. Always worth doing with doors, I think, just makes them look more realistic if they look inset. We've got a little Aquila above the door from a drop pod, and some more rivets, self-adhesive little pearls, and bits of Lego here. So these are little Lego vents with the middle strut cut out, and they're my kind of go-to for windows at this scale. And on the front, more Lego, these kind of, vaguely Gothic-y kind of shapes. Again, this is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I just think they add a nice little bit of detail for no effort on my side and just make everything a little bit more 3D, a little bit more interesting. If we kind of go up, you can see I've got a Morden in there for scale. He's my actual, that's what that one is always used for. He lives on my desk, and I always use him for kind of scale purposes, although he's maybe slightly smaller than a modern Cadian. That's kind of what his job is. So if we move up a little bit, we can see that we've got these mounting points, and these are for heavy weapons. So these are actually from the heavy weapons like tripod, and they're just kind of cut off into a little square. They're actually supported underneath with a little bit of plastic tubing, which is difficult to kind of get an angle on for you. But I've got a variety of heavy weapons that I've modified. So these are all from the Cadian heavy weapons kit. Heavy bolter here, and I just kind of stuck the ammunition box onto the side because I want it to be a self-contained thing I can just stick on, and then I can just kind of slot those in to the weapon ports, and they'll, you know, rotate and whatnot. So I've got 3 hard points there with a variety of weapons that I keep in a little plastic container inside the Titan. This is hot glued down, so that's not going anywhere. I haven't put a lid on because frankly, if this thing tips up enough for all the heavy weapons to spill out, everything's fucked anyway. So it's like an academic problem really. It doesn't matter. Yeah, variety of weapons, las cannons, same principle. Look, I've just glued the power cell onto the side, so it's self-contained, and then we can just kind of slot that in as and when we need it. We've got 3 points there, and as I said, a selection of heavy weapons, auto cannons, heavy bolters, and las cannons. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks ever so much for joining me in this video. Once again, I apologise if you've been enjoying the Titan stuff and you've been waiting a long time. I do understand that, guys, and I appreciate you staying with me on it and being patient, okay, because it is frustrating when there's something you enjoy and there's big gaps in between. I know that myself when I follow along with, you know, the channels that I watch. It's a bit frustrating, but on this particular project, as I said, I don't want to rush it. I want to try and let it kind of flow nicely, and of course there's the other problem with the algorithm on YouTube as well. So yeah, if you know someone who might be interested, please consider sharing, because I think that's going to help get the word out there. I think a lot of people might be interested in this build that just aren't accessing it or aren't able to kind of get to it on YouTube. So please share if you think someone might be interested. Consider giving me a like if you've enjoyed the content. That always helps. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, consider giving me a sub. Lots more to come. Lots of Titan stuff that I've already done. So if this is your first foray into kind of joining the channel, then go back and check out some of the other Titan videos if you're interested. And thanks for joining me. Take care, guys. I'll catch you in a future video. Cheers.